In this video, I take you through the process of becoming a city planner step by step. This is based on my own experience becoming a city planner and the experience of others I know in the field. I've broken this video down into 6 steps, so let's get started with step 1. Step 1. Decide if city planning is really for you. In my experience, I found that most people don't have a great idea of what city planners do. Some assume planners wield awesome power, like Robert Moses in New York or Baron Haussmann in Paris. The reality is quite different. Let's talk about what planning is really like. Instead of being a larger-than-life lord of a city making changes unilaterally like someone playing SimCity, planners work on behalf of city councils, planning commissions, and other community members. Planners often act as educators and facilitators rather than master designers. Planning is highly collaborative. Plans often take years to develop and decades to fully implement. Planners have to have some measure of patience and willingness to take the long view on issues. Planning is often intertwined with local politics, and projects and priorities can change with public opinion or new administrations. It can be frustrating to have a plan or policy derailed because of some change you can't control. Planners engage in a wide variety of activities, from writing, researching, leading community workshops, and creating maps using GIS. The work is rarely monotonous. Planners get to tackle problems like climate change and consider the implications of new technology like autonomous vehicles. It can be incredibly rewarding to make a positive contribution to a community. Planners get to envision a better world and work toward creating it. Not bad for a day's work. At this point, I'd recommend conducting informational interviews with planners in the field. Don't be afraid to reach out. Most city planners will be more than happy to talk to you about what it's like to be a planner day in and day out. Step 2. Get an education. If you want to be a planner, you need a bachelor's degree. I've never met a planner without one, nor have I seen a job posting asking for less than a bachelor's degree. Planners often have degrees that provide them with skills that are useful as a practitioner. Skills like critical thinking, technical writing, statistics, and experience with geographic information software. Degrees like urban studies, geography, environmental science, and sociology are common undergraduate degrees for planners. This doesn't mean you can't be a planner with a different degree if you have some or all of these skills that I just mentioned. Of all the skills to have, the ability to write and communicate effectively is the most important. If you're going to focus on any skill to build, that would be the one. Step 3. Get some experience. College, particularly at the undergraduate level, doesn't fully prepare you to be a city planner. For that, you need an internship. It will also give you a great sense for what the professional environment's like. This is the stuff I screwed up on when I was an undergrad. I didn't do any internships, so when it was time to apply for jobs, it made for some really awkward job interviews. They would ask me if I had any professional experience, and I'd be like, no. Needless to say, I didn't get those jobs. So learn from my mistakes and get an internship in your undergraduate career. Step 4. Go to graduate school. Okay, a master's degree technically isn't a prerequisite for being great at this job. I know plenty of great city planners without one. That said, the American Planning Association considers a master's degree in planning a standard for practitioners. A master's degree is useful for people who have an undergraduate degree that's not closely related to planning because a graduate degree can get you the requisite knowledge and skill set. A graduate degree can also give you more opportunities to get internships and experience, which again gives you a leg up on the job market. I'll post a link to accredited master's programs in the description below. Step 5. Consider a specialty. Some city planners need to be generalists, especially if they work in a small office and have to wear many hats. But planners tend to gravitate towards specialties, either at school or on the job. You can think of specialties the way doctors have specialties. All doctors are doctors, but some are neurologists, radiologists, cardiologists. All planners are planners, but there are several common specialties in professional practice, such as land use, transportation, housing, economic development, community development, historic preservation, environmental planning, and urban design. Each specialty is unique and requires a unique set of skills and knowledge. That said, planners from one specialty often interact with planners from another specialty. There's enough overlap to keep things interesting. Step 6. Get a job. We've come to the final stop on our journey to becoming a city planner, getting a job. By now you have one or more degrees, some work experience, and maybe even a specialty. But there's one more important thing to consider before you enter the job market. Do you want to work in the public sector, the private sector, or would you be okay with either? Public sector planners can work for a public agency like a city, county, state, transit district, or regional agency. Most often it's for a city or county, and these planners work under a planning director, planning commission, and city council. In addition to plans, public planners often have to produce documents called staff reports to the planning commission and city council. These documents provide governing bodies with information on planning topics relevant at that council or commission meeting. These staff reports will often include recommendations by planning staff. This is one of the primary ways public sector planners can have an influence on the planning process in the jurisdiction they work for. Private sector planners, ones that work for a consulting firm, have a different focus. They are typically hired by public agencies, though private development firms can hire planners as well. Public agencies often hire firms to do projects where the agency lacks that specific expertise, or if there's a temporary need for more planning staff. For example, a city may hire environmental planners to create a climate action plan. Consultant planners have to spend a portion of their time, often around 20%, competing for contracts to do work. So when you know if you're interested in the public sector or private sector, it's time to apply for those jobs. Make sure you highlight your internship experience and all the skills you've learned in school. Before you know it, you'll be getting interviews and the job of your dreams. I know you're going to enjoy this profession. It's both challenging and rewarding. If you want more information on how to become a planner, I've left a link to the American Planning Association resources below. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about city planning before you start your career journey, let me recommend the other videos on this channel. I personally recommend the Introduction to Zoning and the Introduction to Layers of Government.